What about tomorrow? Tomorrow's a busy day in the morning. What do we continue with what we're doing? 7:45?
Uh, so that's Yud Gimel Yud.
Yud Gimel Yud.
Yeah, last two.
Okay. I don't have that. There it is. Okay. Um, there are three lands as far as marriage is concerned: Judea, other side of the Jordan, and Galilee. They cannot remove from town to town or from city to city. In the same land, however, they may remove from town to town or from city to city, but not from a town to a city or a city to a town. They may remove a bad dwelling to a good dwelling, but not a good dwelling to a bad dwelling. From a Shimon El says, not even from a bad dwelling to a good dwelling, for the good dwelling puts to the proof. Everyone can be compelled to go up to Israel, but no one can be compelled to go out. Everyone can be compelled to go up to Yerushalayim, but no one can be compelled to go out, both men and women. If one married a woman in Eretz Israel and divorced her in Eretz Israel, he gives her the coinage of Eretz Israel. If he married a woman in Eretz Israel and divorced her in Kavapadoka, he gives her of the coinage of Eretz Israel. If he married a woman in Kavapoka and divorced her in Eretz Israel, he gives her the coinage of Eretz Israel. Reb Shimon ben Gamil says he gives her the coinage of Kavadoka. And if he married a woman in Kavadoka and divorced her in Kavadoka, he gives her the coinage of Kavadoka. Hey,
Okay, Hadron Alach Maseches Kesubos and the first Mishnah of Nedarim.
hey. Right, here we go. One who says to another, Konas, they are equivalent for Korban. Karek, these are equivalents for Karam, Netak, and Netak, or Patak. These are equivalent for Nazir, Shavuas, Shakuka, or one who was born using the term Mosab. These are equivalent for Shavua. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
carry on. Yeah.
One who says not kulin, I shall not eat from you, unfit or not permissible, ritually pure or finally ritually contaminated, left over sacrificial meat or pickle. These declarations are binding, like a lamb, like the enclosures, like the logs, like the fires, like the
Oh,
altar,
hold on,
like
hold on, hold on, hold on. You didn't do Aleph. I was getting very confused because I was a little bit ahead of you, but you were doing Chazara on Aleph, and I'll do the new ones from base.
oh, I
You're
did
supposed to do
do
Chazara on Aleph.
okay, wrong page. All equivalent terms used in the Dharam are like the Nedarim, and those used in Karamim are like Hararim. And in all oaths are like oaths, and in the Nazaric declaration are unlike Nazaric declaration. One who says to another, I am restricted from you by a neder, I am separated from you, or I am removed from you, in that I shall not eat, or that I shall not taste, is bound. I am excommunicated from you. Rabbi Akiva hesitated with this, indicating stringency. If one says, like the vows of the wicked, he has vowed concerning a Nazarite, an offering, and an oath. Like the vows of the scrupulous, he has not said anything. Like the devotional vows, he has vowed concerning Nazareth and an offering.
Okay. Omer Lechavero. So guy says to his friend, or maybe not so much his friend, Konam, Konach, Konas. Any of those terms, Hare Elu Kinoim LeKorban. So all of these are nicknames of a korban. It's interesting, like they had a kind of a slang. I mean, I'm just thinking about it in terms of, socially. Like the Australians always have slang for things. They talk everything gets some sort of a um uh, get some sort of a slang word for it. Like even Corona is the Rona, uh, you know, and you've got hand sanitizer. All these things came up during Corona, like hand sanitizer. It got called Sani.
So,
Pass the Sani. That's so. I guess I don't know if there were Australians in the time of the Mishnah, but people use these terms konam, konach, or konas when they're meant to korban. And cherek, cherech, and cheref hare elu kinoim lecherem. So that's when somebody's declaring something to be cherem, to be donated to the mikdash. Nazik, naziach, paziach. Interesting how paziach got so far removed, but that's not considered a nazir. They are elu kinoim le naziros. Shavusa shekuka. nadar b'mosa, and even if he uses the word mosa, is that's also a kinoi for shvua. Hare elu kinoim l'shvuin. Okay. Ha'omer lo cholin lo ochalach. If he says, if the guy says lo cholin lo ochalach, if you don't, I won't. Lo cholin means it's not cholin. In other words, it's kodshim. Lo
Hmm.
ochalach. I won't eat from you. Lo kasher, it's a keilu, it's not kosher. Lo dachi, lo, it's impure, tahor, the tame, nosar, upigul. If he declares something to be any of these characteristics, it's considered asur. Why? Because even though it's not entirely clear that this is to do with korban, nonetheless, these are terms that are used in connection with kodshim. And since there's the connection with kodshim, that's what a neder does. It's linked to a korban, and since a korban is asur for personal use, that's the linkage that we've got over here. Ki imra is it's like a lamb, right?
Right, like lamb.
Like a lamb. Kadirin, like the pens, I think is the dirin
Right,
is
enclosures, right? The
closures,
enclosures.
right? Ke'ishim, like the fire offerings, kamizbeach, kahechal, kirushalayim. If it's like the mizbech or like the hechel or like Yerushalayim, nada be'echa mikol misham sheha mizbech. Or if he made a neder that was tied to any of the instruments linked to the mizbeach. Afal pisha lo hizkir korban, even though he doesn't mention the word korban, nonetheless, there's the linkage is through the kodshim. Hareze nada bekorban. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees on one point. Omer Yerushalayim lo amar klum. If he's linked it like Yerushalayim, that's got nothing to do with korbanos, says Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore that's too far. That's too far separated because Yerushalayim is like it's not just about the temple. There's a city where people live and there's chulin
Right.
in Yerushalayim. So, but at any rate, Kahati rules that not like Rabbi Yehuda. Um, Dalad, Ha'omer, Korban Ola Mincha Chatas Toda Shlamim She'eni Ochalach. He mentions any specific Korban, right? Whether it's an Ola and a Mincha or whatever, and that I won't eat from you. Asur, that is considered Asur. And again, Rabbi Yehuda is matir in this case. Um, since he didn't say with a kaf, the point being that it's got to be ka korban. No, right, all of these words, he's just saying korban she'eni oselach, right? So Rabbi Yehuda says you've missed the ikar part of it is that you're supposed to be doing a linkage like a korban, like a mincha. Then it would be, but uh, okay, but the Tanakama says no. Even the mention of the word is enough to make the linkage. Ha korban, ke korban, korban she'ochalach asur. So if you do mention these things explicitly, then Rabbi Yehuda will agree. Le korban, he says, lo ochalach. So here there's only one voice who says it's asur because le korban is to a korban, um, which sounds like lashon lo korban.
Ah,
Okay. So at any rate, only Rabbi Meir says it's asur, everyone else says no. Ha'omer lechavero konam pi hamadaber imach. If he makes a korban on his mouth, like he makes his mouth like a korban from speaking with you. It's like, I'm not going to speak to you again. Okay. Yadi osaimach, and my hand should be a korban from working with you. Ragli ma'aleches imach, my leg should be korban from working with you. Again, that is asur. He's proclaimed an isur on a part of his body from collaborating with another person or benefiting another person, and that is also an effective way of declaring a neder. Okay, back to Kesubos.
okay. So,
Yud Hey.
if one was married to four wives and he died, the first takes precedence over the second over the third, and the third over the fourth. The fourth swears to the second to the third, and the third to the fourth. But the fourth is paid without an oath. But Nana says, should the prosecutor profit because she is last, she too is not paid without an oath. If they were all written in one day, whichever one precedes the other by even 1 hour acquires the right to be collected first. Thus, in Yerushalayim, they will record the hours. If they were all written in the same hour, then they were only 100, they share equally. If one was married to two wives and sold his field, and the first wife wrote to the purchaser, I have neither right nor claim against you, the second wife may take it from the purchaser, and the first from the second, and the purchaser from the first, and then go around in circles until they make a compromise among themselves. So it is with a creditor, and so it is with a woman creditor. A widow is supported from the property of the orphans. Her handiwork belongs to them, but they are not obligated to bury her. Her heirs, those who inherit her ketubah, are obligated to bury her.
Okay, that's it. Vamos. Okay, test Vav.
Um, Witnesses may testify even if they saw by lamplight and by moonlight, and we may permit marriage on the basis of a voice. There was once an incident where someone stood on the hilltop and said, so and so, the son of so and so from such and such a place has died. They went to the hilltop and found no one there, yet they permitted his wife to remarry. There was another incident in Zalman when someone said, I am so and so and so and so, and a snake has bitten me and I am dying. They went there, but they could not recognize him, that they permitted his wife to remarry. Rabbi Akiva said, when I went down to Nahadar, here to fix the leap year, I encountered the Chama of Des Beis Deli. He said to me, I've heard yet in Eretz Israel they do not permit a woman to remarry by the testimony of a single witness, except for Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava. I said to him, this is correct. And he said to me, tell them in my name, you know that the country is in turmoil because of ravaging troops. I have a tradition from Rabbi Gamliel the elder that we permit a woman to be married by the testimony of a single witness. When I came and presented the matter before Rabbi Gamliel, he rejoiced at my words and said, we have found a companion for Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava. As a result of the exchange, Rabbi Gamliel recalled that some men had once been killed in Tel Azar, and Rabbi Gamliel the elder permitted their wives to be married on the testimony of a single witness. It then became established by remarriage on the testimony of a single witness, and it became established to permit remarriage on the testimony of one witness quoting another, and on the testimony of a slave, a woman, and a slave woman. Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Shua say we do not permit a woman to be married by the testimony of a single witness. Rabbi Akiva says not by the testimony of a woman, a slave woman, or relatives. They said to him there was once an incident where some Levium journeyed to Zohar and the plant of the city of date palms, and one of them fell ill during the journey, and they brought him to an inn. On the return trip, they said to one woman innkeeper, "Where is our companion?" She said to them, "He died, and I buried him." And they bid his wife to marry. They said to him, "Shouldn't his wife have a Kohen be as good as a woman innkeeper?" He replied, when the woman innkeeper was believed, the woman innkeeper brought out to them his staff, his baggage, and the Torah scroll in his possession. Okay.
Adrian, welcome. Vamos. Okay, and first Mishnah in Kesubos.
Okay. I have to go back.
We finished Kesubos and we're starting Kesubos today.
Okay. Where are we? Here we go. Okay. A virgin is married on Wednesday and a widow on Thursday. For twice a week, the courts are in session in the towns on Mondays and Thursdays, so that if they had a claim concerning her virginity, he would go early the next morning to court.
Okay. So,
Okay. Okay.
all right. Yeah, Rosh Hashanah.
Okay, Aleph Vav. It happened that more than 40 pairs of witnesses passed on their way to the Bezdin, and Reb Kiva detained them in Lod. Reb Gamil said to him the following message: if you detain the public, you are placing a stumbling block in the path for the future. A father and his son who saw the new moon should go to the Bezdin, not that they can be paired together as witnesses, but so that if one of them is disqualified, the second may be paired with another. Reb Shimon says a father and his son and all relatives are eligible for testimony about the new moon. Said Reb Yossi, it happened that the Tobiah, the physician, saw the new moon in Jerusalem, and his son, he and his son and his free slave, the Kohanim accepted him and his son and disqualified the slave. But when they came before the Bezdin, they accepted him and his slave and disqualified his son. The following are ineligible as witnesses: a dice player, usurers, pigeon flyers, dealers in seventh-year produce, and slaves. This is the rule. Any testimony for which a woman is ineligible, they too are ineligible for it. Okay.
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 Masros.
Oops. Nice. Hey, Dolly. A person may not sell a straw, olive peat, or grape residue to someone who is not trustworthy in regard to mice for him to extract the juice from them. And if he's extracted them, he is liable to mice but exempt from truma, because he who sets aside truma has his mind broken, the sides, and what is inside the straw. If one buys a field of vegetables in Syria before the tithing season has arrived, he is liable. But after the tithing season has arrived, he is exempt and may continue to gather in his usual manner. If Yehuda says he may even hire laborers to gather. If Timon the Camille says, when does this apply? If he bought the land, if he did not buy the land, then before the tithing season, he is exempt. Rebbe says, also according to calculation. Um, Fine. Okay. If one made wine from grape residue and put in certain measures of water and found the same measure, it is exempt. If Yehuda declares him liable, and if he found more than the measure, he must separate it from somewhere else in proportion. Okay.
Okay. Nedarim.
Okay. Aleph Bet. The reddish version of the snow white nega appears like wine mixed with snow. The reddish version of the lime colored nega is like blood mixed with milk. These are the words of Rabbi Ishmael. Rabbi Akiva says the red version of both of them is the color of wine mixed with water, except that the red tinge of snow is bright, whereas that of lime is duller. These four appearances combine with another to make tahor. To confirm or to confine that which remains the same at the end of the first week, to make tahor that which remains the same at the end of the second week, to confirm that which develops living skin or white hair, either initially or at the end of the first week or the end of the second week, or at being declared tahor, to confirm that which develops an expansion, either at the end of the first week, at the end of the second week, or after being declared tahor. To confirm someone who, right? Yeah. To confirm someone who turns completely white after being declared tahor, to make tahor someone who turns completely white after being confirmed or confined, they all are the appearances of negam upon which all negam, upon which depend all negayim. Chanina, the administrator of the Kohanim, says there are 16 appearances of negayim. Joseph ben Harkin says there are 36 appearances of negayim. Akiva ben Nahal says there are 72. Neither the administrator to the Kohanim says Nagayim are not examined initially on Sunday because the seventh day falls on Sabbath, nor on Monday because the second week falls on Sabbath, nor on Tuesday before houses because the third week falls on Shabbos. The Kiva says a nega examined on any day is any day. If an examination falls on Sabbath, it's postponed until after Sabbath, and this causes both leniency and stringency.
Okay.
And Abos. Okay, Aleph Yud Gimel. He used to say if one becomes renowned, he will eventually lose his renown. And he who does not increase will decrease. And one who did not learn is liable to death. And one who makes use of a crown will pass away. He used to say, I am not for myself, who is for me? If I am for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Shimon ben Shammai says, make your Torah study fixed. Say little and do much, and receive every person with a pleasant countenance.
Okay, that's it.
Good.
Shkoyach.
Okay. Great. Talk to
Have a
you.
lovely day.
Great day. Enjoy. And
Okay.
finish up today. Everything. Bye.